final thoughts on this Cotton Bowl. I really thought this was a game of missed opportunities for Texas. Tie game late in the second quarter. They missed the chance to keep it a tie game. They missed the opportunity to go into halftime tied. We saw Quinn miss some chances to deliver the football. We saw him miss on some throws on balls that were delivered. A couple drop passes earlier in this game. Couldn't score points after a turnover. First and goal from the 1 with a couple minutes left to tie the game. Can't punch it in. And not only that, worst case scenario, all Texas fans are thinking there with 4th and goal to go from the 8 is if we don't get it, we got them pinned. If we can get the stop, we're going to get the ball back. We should probably get decent field position. We'll have a chance. Instead, we don't block. Ball gets stripped. Dude runs it all the way back for a touchdown. So, again, we talk about moments all the time in these games. And I think there were a lot of big moments in this game, and Ohio State really stepped up and seized those moments where Texas just fell a little short. After the rewatch, I talked about it in Drunk Sean Thoughts. I thought the trenches were pretty decent for Texas. And I still think that. I think they held their own. I mean, it wasn't perfect. It was a lot of back and forth. It was certainly closer to a push than Ohio State dominated. Defensive lines really carried it. Ohio State only had 2 long drives in this game. They had their opening drive, 10 plays, 64 yards for a touchdown. They had the first drive of the fourth quarter that was 13 plays, 88 yards for a touchdown, and that was a nut buster. But outside of that, their drives were 8 for 43 and a punt, 5 for 14 and a punt, 3 for 7 yards and a punt, 3 for negative 7 yards and a punt, the screen pass touchdown, 4 for 27 in an interception, 3 for 9 in a punt, 4 for -5 in a punt, 3 for 10 in the game. Texas defense did a really good job. Offensively, Texas only had 1 3 and out, which is amazing if you've watched this offense the last couple of games. They possessed the ball for 28 minutes, so they kept that defense fresh. Really, to me, this was a game where you had 2 teams just kind of got out in the middle of the ring, kind of punching each other for 60 minutes, but nobody's really doing a whole lot of damage. Nobody's getting a consistent amount of upper hand. And again, the difference, those 2 big haymakers that Ohio State was able to land with that screen pass and that strip sack for a touchdown. Talked about it being a game of inches and Drunk Sean Thoughts. Colin Simmons tips a pass that fell just harmlessly short of Jahdae Barron being able to pick it up, run it into the end zone. If that ball stays up for a half second, Jahdae Barron intercepts that, runs it in for a touchdown. Who knows what this game looks like at that point? Point being, sometimes you get the breaks, sometimes you don't. Ohio State got breaks, and they capitalized on them. I think that Ohio State offense, again, I think the defense held them in check outside of that one play. And then I think the offense was able to move the ball on a really good Ohio State defense. Something that was interesting to me rewatching, Texas defense has been on fire in the red zone. They've been on fire with these 4th down stops, and they couldn't get them done on Friday. Ohio State got in the red zone twice, scored 2 touchdowns. They converted on 4th and short at the end of the game, close to the end of the game. So kudos to those guys for rising up. I think those little things like that are the difference in the game. I also think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that this Texas offense sputtered in the red zone with this kind of the season on the line. 79% in the red zone on the season, 69% in the red zone in December and January, this Texas team is. So obviously the competition gets stiffer when you're in December and January, but when your starting point is 79%, it's not going to be pretty. Really, really dumbfounded by the play selection at the 1 yard line. I'm extremely dumbfounded by the personnel choices at the 1 yard line on 1st and goal. Again, though, keeping it balanced. This was a really gritty effort by the Longhorns. They had an opportunity to get it done. And honestly, after this game, I don't know if I'm just getting older and wiser. I wasn't all that pissed off. 20 years ago, if that happens, man, I might have tore my house down. I might have burned down the whole neighborhood. I My wife gets up, leaves the living room, goes to bed. I just kind of stayed up and just happy to have a good season. I think I think those 10 years really kicked my ass where we were just so terrible that this is like a good time. And you know what? I remember back when Vince Young was here and when Colt McCoy was here, just expecting to win every single game, and winning almost wasn't fun because I just expected to win every game. Losing was terrible. Winning wasn't fun. I don't ever want to lose that winning is fun feeling again. Like when we went to Alabama last year and beat those guys, that was fun. When we went up to Michigan this year and beat those guys, that was fun. I don't ever want to lose that. I hope you guys don't lose it either.